Very, very beautiful. Al fianco anzi vorrei from the opera Davide by Conti. And here I see that we have one of my most favorite divas. Hi, Anne. Nice to have you with us.
Hi.
I hope you do not suffer from the cold that another friend of ours is suffering from. Do you know Holger?
Slightly.
Okay. And how is the cold treating you?
At the moment, I'm sitting one stair up, and it's a little bit better.
Okay. Okay. I just want you, please, to sit back, close your eyes, open your mind, and think about 18 degrees Celsius, or if you prefer, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that is what we are having in Israel, in Tel Aviv, at this very moment. I'm sweating.
Wow.
So anyhow, this is what the wonder of the world is doing to us. I believe that where Jeffrey is in Cincinnati, he is probably somewhere in between. What is it now in Sweden? It must be 2 or 4 degrees.
In Sweden?
Yeah.
Right now we have something like -20.
-20?
Yeah.
How do you write that? I mean, you write it directly into the ice, or? Wow. No, so I think you are beating Cincinnati at this very moment. Okay. I remember once I arrived in Hamburg, and I've never seen something like that in my life. It was -18 or something like that. With a wind chill factor, it was -395. And I love the cold weather. I live on that. But it was just impossible. It was incredible. And then my friends in Hamburg took me to the port, not to see, the red light district, but to see the sea, because all the waves were frozen as waves. I've never seen something like that. It was beautiful. And of course, on the Elbe, on the river, people were playing and skiing, and everything was. It was very, very nice. Actually, I miss it here with my 18 degrees. Okay, forget it. So, Holger, I'm sure that Conti in Vienna never had -20, but not -20.
No, not -20. That's true.
No, I see that somebody is. It's 8 Celsius in Cincinnati. You see, that's civilized. That's civilized. Okay. So, Holger, tell us a little bit. First of all, before we go into that, who is playing here with Sonia?
That is Il Complesso Barocco with under Alan Curtis. This is well, I can hold it here in the camera. This is an official release with Marianna Mijanovic, Simone Kermes,
wow,
Birgitte Christensen. It's a very nice recording. I highly recommend it.
It's fantastic, and I'm working very hard trying to get Alan on the program. We will get him, he said, but and Cornelia is supposed to get us some way nearer to Mariana, who I would love to have here with us.
Well, then
I hope she will be here soon. I hope. I don't know. I hope.
Well, you know that Mariana and Anne are friends as well.
Yes, I know. But before I met with Anne, Cornelia and I were talking about. This is actually how Cornelia and I met, because I wrote to Mariana, and I did not know that Cornelia was actually administrating her Facebook website. Okay, Conti. Where does he come from? What does he find when he gets to Vienna?
Well, he comes from Florence, and
tell us a little bit about. Excuse me for stopping you here, because it's so important. Florence is a city-state. It's historically and artistically, it's very important, and especially at this point in time. Tell us a little bit about what is the cultural atmosphere like in Florence?
Well, it is one of the main cultural cities in Italy at this time, and it is quite important to know that almost each major Italian town had its own musical style, or that's maybe a bit too strong a word, but they had their musical tastes which reflect in the style of the composer. In Conti's case, I think because he left Florence very early, so he's really not he is certainly more kind of Viennese composer, but generally, of course, it is for example, when you take a city like Bologna, which didn't have a strong theatrical life, for example, but a very strong oratorio tradition in all the churches. So they had a much more old-fashioned style than the big opera set like Naples or Venice. And Florence is exactly one of these central musical centers in Italy. They even had their own pitches. They had tuned their instruments differently. So if you really want to have a historically inspired performance, you should also use the strings they had in Bologna at this time, or the pitch they had at this time. So we know that Rome, for example, was lower than Naples, and things like this. It's really interesting. It's like small islands with their own musical life. And, it gets very interesting when they interact or when they travel and meet other musical traditions.
Well, there's the stories where the mixture does not work. I'm thinking of Gesualdo from Naples, who, after having murdered his first wife, marries into the Mantuan court, where the music is completely different. And they liked a little bit about what he was doing because but they did not understand it very much.
Exactly.
And actually, his wife, his second wife, went crazy, as we know.
Yes, Gesualdo, he's one of the most amazing characters.
Fantastic. I love it. I love what he's doing with the music and within his music, because the versions of each and every period of 12, 18 months changes completely. He starts with the madrigals and then he goes into the vespre. Okay, back to Conti. He leaves Florence and he travels to Vienna. What does he find in Vienna? What years are we talking about?
This oratorio was performed 1724 at the court, and he himself, he was a theorbist. He played the lute or the theorby, and he was not only a composer. It's as almost all these composers, they were excellent musicians themselves. and he played the lute and was renowned as, together with Sylvius Weiss, the other big lutenist of this era. These two.
They also played the Baroque guitar, if I'm not mistaken, no?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so they come to Vienna. What do they find in Vienna? What kind of atmosphere is Vienna? I mean, let's try to figure, because you come to this from Florence, which is not only obviously music. Florence is the center. We have the Medici, we have the Il Magnifico with its poetry, with the fantastic feasts that he's throwing, where everybody is supposed to build something, and the paintings. And what does he find in Vienna?
Mostly, he finds an incredibly rich and I think diverse life. Opera for the court. Then he needs to write in a different style. Then he writes an oratorio, which is performed in a chapel for a solemn occasion, and he needs to adapt to the style, and he needs to be open to what is there. And for example, in this Davide oratorio, you don't think it's 1724 in my opinion. You think it's a bit older than that.
Yes.
And it's in the church style, which is more traditional. But Conti is an musical, how do you call it? Daredevil, I would say. He is very extravagant in his harmonies. He's very unconventional, and I think this is something which might cause him a bit of problems as well in the establishment. But most of his works were quite successful, and he needs to compose for almost all occasions imaginably. Oratorios, serenatas, chamber music. He needs to perform his own theorb pieces, and he needs to have commissions of cantatas, and he is plunged as a Kapellmeister at the court. He's in a sea, in an ocean of music and musical life. And I think these composers there, they had to work so hard, composing very quickly and performing and reading and money.
We have a problem with your sound, Holger. Would you please leave the room and come back?
Yes.
Because there's a kind of a timbre to your voice, which I know is not your voice. So please leave the meeting and come back. And
yes. Should I log out here?
Yes, please. Log out and log back in, please. Thank you.
Okay.
I see that we also have another guest here that we did not have before. Let me see if I am not mistaken. Again, I'm not sure about the microphone and everything else, but I can see.
Can we try? Is it better now?
Much better now, and I hope it stays like this, because now it's much better. Let me just say good evening and welcome to, we had here Ingve. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Inge or Ingve, please let me know whether you can hear me or not. Do you know Ingve, Holger?
Yes, we know each other. Ingve is from Norway.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
So it's a male. I don't think that he has a microphone. If it does has a microphone. Oh, okay, okay, fine. Good to have you with us. Thank you for being with us. I am sorry if you do not have a microphone and you do not have a video camera, because I'd like to be able to share and see everybody. It gives it a little bit more of a. You get a message that says can't connect to your webcam. What it is, Jeffrey, probably is that what we'll have to do. Please let me have your telephone number, and after we finish this, we will set up a time, and we will just go through the technicality and try to solve the problem. Probably it's nothing but a wrong configuration, but I just don't want to take up the time of everybody else. But if it says that, it means that actually you can be seen and you can be heard, that there's some kind of a problem. By the way, Ingrid, seems to me, oh, you see yourself? If you see yourself, please click on the webcam. There's an icon that looks like you did that. So what I would like you to do, please, at the top. Yes, you do? Okay. Let me see. I can see Anne, and I can see Cornelia, and I can see Holger. Hey, hi Inge. How are you? Now I can see you. Okay. I can still not see. For your mic, what you want to do, Inge, is try to press the control button. It's the utmost left button on your keyboard. It says control. Try to press that and speak. It might work. No, it does not work. Well, what it is, again, you should have had a message saying your host started a voice conference. Would you like to join? But you obviously did not get this message, did you? You did not. Okay. Well, I don't want you to miss everything, so we will do again something. Please, everybody, bear with me so that we can overcome these problems. Inge, what I would like you to do, please, is I'm going to leave the voice conference part of the meeting. When I do that, please go to the navigation bar. You'll see File, Edit, Share, View, Audio. Can you see that? Press on audio, not now, when I tell you that I've left the voice meeting. Press the audio and please go through it one by one. Make sure that A, you can hear the lovely lady there. Well, she's blonde. I don't know if she's lovely. And then you will see there's a red thing to press, speak, and you have to be able to hear yourself. And very important, when you get to the last picture, you have to say whether you're using the laptop or your earphones or whatever. So I'm going to leave right now. And sorry, everybody, and thank you very much for your patience. But let's just make sure that Okay. We are back. Please unmute your mic. It's muted. Say something now. Fantastic. Here you are.
Ah, great.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for being so patient. But, you know, the first time with us seems like almost like finding a lost manuscript. Well, not exactly. Okay. So here we are with Conti in the beginning of the 18th century in Vienna. If I'm not mistaken, he never wrote a missa, no? Did he write a mass?
I don't know that. I can't
know that
understand.
I don't remember that he ever wrote. Not that I know that he ever wrote a requiem or another mass or grand mass. I don't think so. Anyhow, so we're going now to come to the Sonata Quarta, Largo e Nobile. Tell us a little bit, first of all, about the styles of Nobile. We had the Galante, the Nobile. What did it stand for?
It's noble, I think, would be the yes. How to explain largo e nobile and ceremonial,
Okay.
I would say. And this is not Conti, by the way. This is Veracini. We are leaving Vienna, so to say, and listen to a true cosmopolite, polite, or whatever it is called. He, another one of these crazy. It is said that he was crazy. I can maybe talk a bit more later. And he was violin virtuoso.
I was going to say he was the grandfather of Paganini used to say that Veracini was his real grandfather, but I mean, you know.
Yes, he was famous for, and there are loads of anecdotes and short stories about his life, and he was very egocentrical and arrogant. That was what everybody said about him, and probably not a very nice person, but he was the finest violinist of his generation, obviously. And it was well, a disputed position, I would say, but he thought he was. And you maybe know this cry from the London audience, one God, one Farinelli.
Yeah.
And actually, it is probable that it was originally a cry, one God, one Veracini, and that it was by the audience, and that it was used for or by Farinelli later. And I think these two short movements of a sonata for recorder, violin, and bass shows a bit of this eccentricity, is that the right word? of the composer, and gives a good impression of his style, I think.
Okay, and who are we going to be listening to? Who is performing here?
I can hold the if it's possible to see something. It is Attilio Cremonesi,
okay,
who is playing the harpsichord, and the flauto dolce is played by Christoph Ersam, and the violina da gamba by Eunice Brandau.
Okay.
It's a chamber piece. And, Attilio Cremonesi is another friend of ours, so that was another reason why I picked this. I can before we play, I might add that I am going to that the Veracini Adriano in Syria will be published also by me and Fabio Biondi is and perform and lot of probably fully interesting recorded in a couple of years. It's 2 years time, we hope. And I picked here also recordings by friends of ours. It's always a little tribute here as well.
Well, what are friends for? So, friends, Roman countrymen. No, that's another opera. Let us all sit back, relax. I'm sorry, Jeffrey, but what we'll have to do is please send me by email. I'll send you my email. Send me by email your telephone number, and we'll set up a time to do. You know, it'll probably solve itself within 5 to 15 minutes. Jeffrey has a problem with his. Well, it's our system that has a problem with Jeffrey's equipment. So, but he can hear us, but we cannot hear nor see him. Please, everybody, mute yourself and be prepared for a lovely, lovely piece of music with all the joy of the Baroque. Splendid. There's so much joy in the way of performing the Baroque music, which kind of was lost for such a long time, you know, and it was performed in the classical way. Again, Fabio Biondi said something very, very true, that when Stravinsky said his famous line that to us sounds so stupid, you know, that Vivaldi wrote the same concerto 120 times. At the time of Stravinsky, when he said that, it was not so stupid because the music needed a lot of love. This is what Fabio says, and it's so true. It's an act of love to really discover the music. And what is more an act of love than actually finding the music that was lost for such a long time?
Yes, and in this recording especially, I think they ornament almost excessive way, I would say, and this is a kind of knowledge which also needs to be rescued or acquired before you can perform it adequately. This is such a big part of it, to ornament. Sometimes you have difficulties to follow the melody because of all the ornaments and trills and appoggiaturas, and this is a big part of the fascination.
That brings me to the very, very important part that the basso continuo played in the Baroque music, because it was like the anchor that made sure that although the sea was becoming more and more frivolous and happy and joyous, the ship would stay at one place, and people would keep dancing and getting more and more crazy and enthusiastic. But Francisco Fernandez.
Hi, Francisco.
A very good evening to you. I hope you can see us. And let me see. I think that we can even see you. Okay. We also have, and I'm very glad to welcome. Hi, Francisco. Now I can see you. I'm very glad to welcome also Karinea Hughes. Karinea, I'm not sure whether you do or you do not have a microphone. I hope that you can hear us. I understand you do not have a webcam. Also, Karinea, if you could please write me your email in the chat, I will make sure that we do some kind of a little session here, technical session. We are going to run a technical session every day for people who are interested to solve technical, problems, because it is a very, very new kind of technology, and there's a lot involved here so that we can listen to the music at the quality that we do and see each other at the quality. By the way, we can now even share video at a very, very high quality. It's not yet high definition, but it's a very, very good quality. So that's why in the beginning we do have some kind of, I don't know, getting to know each other kind of problems. So anyhow, we are now, first of all, I'm very glad that you chose the pieces you did, Holger, because it's, I feel that with Sophia, for whatever reason, I don't know, it became a kind of a haven of Baroque music. Most of the musicians that we had here, if I'm not mistaken, even all the musicians. No. We had Rachel Mercer, who we are going to have again on in Europe on the 4th of March, and Jeffrey in the States is going to be the 3rd of March at 9 o'clock in the evening. We're going to have Rachel Mercer and Jonathan Berrick, and they play classical music. But it's such a fantastic feeling that we are starting to create really a bunch of friends, which is what the Salon Littéraire was all about. I hope
global.
Yeah, and
Francisco is in Venezuela.
Hi.
He's watching from Venezuela.
So Where are you from in Venezuela, Francisco? Can you do you have a microphone, Francisco? I don't know. I can see you, so I'm just wondering whether you have a mic or not. Let me see. Francisco. Ah, now I can see Karinia. Fantastic. And it looks as if you have a mic as well. Karinia, could you please unmute yourself? I will unmute you. Let's see. Could you say something, Karinia? Uh-huh. Well, okay. Do me a favor and press the control key on your keyboard and try to speak then. Can you do that? Can you press the control key on your keyboard? That sometimes does solve the problem. No, it does not solve the problem. How about you, Francisco? Okay, well, please write me an email with your telephone numbers, and we'll set up sessions to make sure that all those problems can be overcome. I'm very, very embarrassed, Karinia, because I'm not even sure that I pronounce your name right, whether it's Karini or Karinia. And I was hoping that you were going to help me. It seems I can't use the mic. Well, what would have helped is for you to, Francisco, I'm saying, please leave the meeting and log out and come back in. Then it might be solved. But let's wait. If you can hear, let's wait, Francisco, until after Nobil Onda. Nobil Onda will be translated at best as the noble wave. So we have new wave and noble wave. Don't take me seriously. That was a very, very bad joke. Tell us a little bit about La Nobil Onda.
Oh, are we leaving Veracini already?
Well, we're not leaving him. He'll be back.
Nobil Onda. This is an aria by Popora, and it is from Adelaide, in fact, which was, if I'm not mistaken, written for London, for the London stage, where Popora was Handel's main rival. You know, there were two rival opera companies. One was headed by as a composer by Handel as the chief composer, and the Opera of the Nobility was a few blocks away in London, and the main composer there was
Niccolo Porpora. Yeah.
Niccolo Porpora, exactly. And this is typical, if I might say so, for my approach to music and to music history. It was Porpora. It seems that the musicologists or the Baroque fans always seem to be a bit angry about Porpora because he was the bad guy. He was Handel's rival, and you hardly find positive words on it because you can't raise Handel's rival above him, and so I got the feeling that I must find out who is this person, what kind of music does he write, and he's a fantastic composer, and I think he is the composer of the next decade in Baroque music. I hope of the next 10 years. I think we'll have a huge Porpora revival, I think, and we are having the interest. We are having performers to perform it because it is perform mainly. The orchestra is the Neapolitan it's like carpet on which the singer walks. It's the ground, the foundation, and it's all the focus is on the singer. And if you don't have a good singer, it's painful. And here we are having a wonderful singer, one of our best friends in the business. As I said, I chose not only composers I like, but also interpreters I like, or we like, and this is by Karina Gauvin from her opera recital. This is, I can have it in the camera here. Again, with Complesso Barocco and
go ahead. We missed some words at the end.
You missed. This is yeah, again with Alan Curtis and his orchestra in Complesso Barocco, and you heard that this is Karina Gauvin, a wonderful lady soprano.
Yeah,
comes over quite often to perform, and it's a good friend of Anne mainly, and they have worked so many times together. And whenever I see that Anne is singing with Karina, I try to be there as well because she's such a nice person. And the Viking and the Shrimp.
Well, so you actually predict that we're going to have a pop opera future?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. There's some terrible stories about Popera. I mean, there are stories that he paid people to go into the opera house where Handel's work was performed and start talking in the middle. Because if you whistle, it was not as bad as just talking. And
yes.
Terrible stories about.
Yes, but I get the impression that that was quite common. Actually, I just read that Popper himself was victim of such an attack in Venice a couple of years ago.
But you know why? Nobody wanted him in Venice. They couldn't understand his accent. I'm serious.
That's probably true. Yeah, he had the dress rehearsal of his Seefahrtsche, and his big rival there was Leonardo Vinci. And it is said that Leonardo Vinci sent the castrato Gaetano Ehrenstedt into the rehearsal, and he was to blow snuff on stage, so that they had to sneeze at everybody, and so it would be a fiasco. So he probably had learned from Vinci there in London. Yes.
What I would like everybody to understand that oh, Anne, I see that you're getting colder and colder. Sorry about that. What I would like everybody to realize, please, is that we are talking about. Let's see, what would be a city that everybody knows? We're talking about opera houses that are about 3 street blocks away from each other. It's not like one is in one part of London and the other one is in another part of London. They're all very, very close together. And I mean, there are millions of stories that I read that Popera would change the advertisement, would take the advertisement of Handel and would put it on the opera, on his opera, the Noble Opera, when he was not performing, so that people would go to an empty theater instead of a. Now, whether these stories are true or not, I have no idea, and they're not that important. But as we are going to have a pop opera future, I think we have to build up a little bit of gossip here, so that we might even get Mick Jagger to sing him or to perform him or something. Don't listen to me, it's just stupidity. So we're going to celebrate now with Nobilonda in a very, very good company of very good friends. Please mute your microphones. That was really lovely. With your permission, Holger, and with the permission of everybody else, first of all, I would like to welcome Lisa, who has joined us recently. Sorry. Lisa, can you hear me? Well, I don't know. Hopefully you can hear me. And if you can, and you cannot speak, please write in the chat whether you can or cannot hear me. I'm sorry about that. It's as if I was singing and lost my voice. What I would like to do, with your permission, is just as we still remember the beautiful operatic rendition of Nobilonda of Porpora, and I would like to come back just for a tiny little piece of Veracini, just to see the huge difference of approach to music. If I may, let's just hear a small passage of Veracini here. We can only obviously keep listening to it, but it just struck me as so different. The mood and the musical construction itself. Let's get back to the digging part of it, Holger. How does it start? I mean, what is the beginning of the process of putting together a manuscript?
Putting together, how does it? Can you hear me?
I think you are muted for whatever reason.
No. Can you hear me now?
No, you're not muted. I don't know why I can't hear you.
I continue speaking. Can you hear me now?
You can hear. It's my problem. I don't know why, but it's my problem. Seems to be my problem. So, well, what I'll do is I'll try and allow me. I'll try and leave and come back.
Okay. Can you hear me now? I can.
Okay. Will you try now, Holger, please?
So now?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what I did, let me explain my stupidity, which sometimes surprises me. I muted Veracini, and because I muted Veracini, everything else was muted, as far as I was concerned, not as far as everybody else was concerned. Okay, so sorry about that. Tell us about the beginning of the process. You find the manuscript, and then?
Then is the decision burden me with half a year of editing for this piece. But there are different different answers to this question. Sometimes it is a commission, and then, but that's maybe not really the interesting part of the answer. My curiosity is to find a piece which was successful once, and try to find out why it is, or why it doesn't appeal to us anymore. Is it bad music? Is there such a thing as bad music, or is it a style which is old-fashioned for us or outdated in our aesthetics? So I try to see what is the quality, or what is the style, or what is the interest in just this piece. Often it is that I start from the point of view of the singer. Who is singing in this opera? Is it one of the big names which are related to Handel, for example? Is it Carestini? Is it Farinelli? Is it Bordoni? Is it Cuzzoni, or all the big singers of Handel's time, or of the Baroque era? Because this is another big interest for me, a big approach, good approach for me to find out who is singing and how is the individual singer working, what's his weakness, what's his strength, did the voice change? And this is an approach which I have very often to a manuscript, by analyzing the voices of the singers who sang the performance, or for whom it was written. And yes, then it starts simply, and then I know I need to find the libretto. I need maybe to find other sources to compare different copies in different parts of the world, different versions, and it's a bit of a detective work involved in this, and this is also quite exciting, actually.
Is it possible to re-establish how the opera was staged, how it was actually directed?
If you have, if you're fortunate to have the decorations, you might be able to do so. You have if you know it's Galli di Vienna, or one of the big stage painters, stage decorators, then they had a very different approach to staging. That's maybe the answer to that question. You know, who was the stage director of the performance? Do you know who did it? The composer. So they didn't have a stage director like we had, but they didn't need actually so much, because it was standardized. They had gestures, they had positions, they had clichés, you could say. Every raising of an arm, every touch of the body was connected with a certain emotion, and the emotions are standardized in Baroque opera. You have this is what I find so fascinating about Baroque opera. You have the chance to follow a character in the course of the opera through very different emotions. You get the whole person, the whole life, and the whole emotional range of a Baroque character through the different areas, because they are so standardized. For example, if you look at Verdi, if you look at the heroine in a Verdi opera, Donizetti, they are often focused, they are characterized in a very one-dimensional way. They are the suffering heroine. They are the villain. They are the servant, which doesn't have to say much. They are the tenor is the stupid lover or whatever. It's very basic. But in Baroque, you get the whole character. They are suffering. They are angry. They are full of love. They are despaired. It is like, and I think this is why we are having such a big renaissance of Baroque opera on a non-musical basis, because it is so close to us. The aesthetic, the approach of Baroque opera to the human being is so whole, so complete, and still it is very fragmented. It's a bit complicated maybe, but I hope you can follow what I mean. You get the fragments and through different areas, and you can put together the fragments through the course of the opera to discover the whole person, the whole character. This is my idea of Baroque opera. And to come back to your question about the staging, for a Baroque audience, there was not much staging needed, because they understood the gestures, they understood the interactions, because it was very standardized.
Mm. Let's just remember that around this time, a little bit later it became written and everything, but around this time in Italy was created what we know today as the Commedia dell'arte, but which is much more interesting than just the idea of Commedia dell'arte, because Commedia dell'arte took Italy as it was. You had Pantalone, who was from Venice. You had the Capitano from here. You had the other people from Naples. And everything was known. Every gesture that was done on stage has been seen millions of times. But the same gesture with a different smile means, I seem to be suffering, but actually I'm playing a game, because at the end I'll make somebody else suffer. And probably the same thing is true about the staging or the non-staging of the Baroque opera, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Obviously, we find a beautiful relief of everything together in some of the operas of Mozart, who brings everything to life in such a beautiful way. And his character, let's take, the incredible character of Don Giovanni. Let's just think what happens to him during the whole opera. I mean, in the good old days, he was just one character. He was a Don Giovanni, crazy about women, whatever happened. But now that people start understanding more and more and more and more, there's so many nuances to him. The way that he treats his servant, the way he treats the commendatore, the way Donna Elvira.
Yes, exactly. I wonder if he would have so many nuances if it was composed by Verdi. I think we must not forget that Mozart was not a revolutionizer. He essentially tried to write Baroque opera in his own way, and therefore he wasn't successful, because they said it's a Porcheria Tedesca when they heard the Titus in Prague, but he wanted basically to fulfill the seria rules and regulations, but he was a genius, so he couldn't. And but I think Mozart was a Baroque composer, probably. He didn't want to break the rules necessarily, I think.
Well, I mean, one of the things about Mozart is like every genius in any discipline of art is, first of all, whenever you hear him again and again and again, I'm not talking only about the opera, but all the piano concertos and the symphonies and the 40, 41, you go crazy every time there's something new that was not written before. But yes, it was written. Only you understood it differently. But if we go back to Porpora, first of all, let's just make a little note. Porpora did not only opera. He also wrote very interesting music for a small orchestra without voice, if I'm not mistaken. And what we find so interesting in what we said earlier in the scene in London at that time was that it was possible to have this incredible mixture of Handel on one hand and Popper on the other, and would it be nice to be able to visit for one night?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Would be a nice idea. Now we are with the Siciliano Larghetto. Could you tell us a little bit about the concept of the Siciliano that we had also with Bach? And
yes, the Siciliano is a very pastoral movement. It's always in a 6/8 or 12/8. It's a very yes. How can I explain that? It is always when there are shepherds involved, and when it's all the Christmas cantatas, they all have Siciliano when the shepherds come to the crib, and it is one of the standardized movements in any suite. For example, it's the Siciliana is the 6/8, the lyrical, very romantic, peaceful. You won't find an angry Siciliano. That doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. And here we have not only a Siciliano, but we have a Larghetto, which means with largesse, with. So what are we going to listen to here? By the way, Francisco, I'm very happy that it looks to me as if you solved your microphone problem. Would you please unmute yourself and let's see if we can hear you? Let me unmute you. Francisco?
Yes. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, now you can hear me.
Yes, yes. I did mute you before because when everybody had his mic unmuted, there was a kind of an echo that comes. I have no idea, but some people, when their mics are open together, everybody together, there's a kind of a strange echo. Like now, I don't hear it. Now it's fantastic. I can hear you very well, and there's no echo. Well,
no.
It's very good to have you with us here, Francisco, and I'd be very glad if...
Yes, I am happy to be here too.
Okay. Be very glad if I may add you to our mailing list so that I can share with you our future programs, and I hope that you
Okay.
came. If you come to visit our site, you will see a little bit of what's happening. It's u-sophia.com. So very good to be able to see you and hear you from beautiful Venezuela, and you're in Valencia. So it's okay.
Yes, like the Spanish city.
Okay, but you don't have the Plata del Toro like they have in Spain, in Valencia, in Spain.
Indeed, we have. Indeed, we have one. It's a little copy of one that is in Spain, but it's in a quite minor scale. It's very little. It's very little.
I thought they closed it, no? It's still open?
No, it is still there. It is still there.
Wow.
We are against the tauromachia. I don't know which is the English spelling of that, but it's still open. We are meeting here concerts.
Wow.
Especially in that space, we are making concerts. Gustavo Dudamel presents there. Many other artists that come to Valencia sometimes present there.
Okay. So every day you learn something new. Okay. So Holger, tell us a little bit about this Siciliano Larghetto.
It is the movement which follows this Largo e Nobile, which we have heard 1.5 times now during this program, and I thought it is a very good combination of this Largo and the Siciliano and the Larghetto, because it shows how daring, how unusual, and I would say crazy Veracini does compose sometimes. It is really unusual Baroque music, and you might even find it difficult to follow the harmonies or follow the musical lines, because it is also very heavily ornamented, and I think it's really fascinating music.
Okay, so who are we going to listen to here? Who's playing? Alan?
No, it's at the Cremonese, at the Clavicembalo, and Christoph Ersam, who's playing flauto dolce.
Okay, so Siciliano Larghetto by the crazy violinist and composer Veracini. Please mute your mics and let's listen to it. the harmony here is really surprising, to say the least, because instead of what normally was used as the seventh in order to go from the major into minor, he uses the fifth all of a sudden.
Yes.
It kind of it catches you in the middle.
Yes, it's really very surprising sometimes, and sometimes it's almost like, well, do you want to really run? Was mistake and yes, I think it's really
It's splendid music. It's splendid music.
I agree. And I'm buying right now as much Veracini as I can, because I want to find out if we find in him the same as we have in Handel, that he is stealing from himself or using his material, recycling his material. But at the moment, I haven't found any
really
congruencies. No, not yet. I'm comparing it with the opera arias.
Well, that's why I wanted to, I allowed myself to do the little game of listening again to him after we listen to Porpora, because it's as if it's coming from different worlds. It was so, and this is even a little bit crazier. But
but as I said, there are stories that he, in a fit of madness, threw himself out of a window in Dresden and broke his leg and was out of business for a couple of months. And his big rival Pisendel was triumphing. And he was dabbling in alchemy, and then he was arrogant and very, very strange character. Really a Baroque person, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's it's a curiosity. There's a novel that has been written called Madame da Vinci, which is kind of an invention. Somebody invented Leonardo's mother. We do not know who his mother was. We know who his father was. He was a notary. And what is very interesting is that the writer, Ian Pearce, the English writer, he made out of Leonardo's mother an alchemist. And, she was mixing all the strange mixtures, and that's what gave him the first idea that that color is not only poison, but it can also be something else. Not very interesting, but alchemy. It's strange that we had the revival of the ideas of alchemistry at the end of the 19th century.
Yes.
All of a sudden, William Butler Yeats swore that he could go into alchemy again. Here we come to, first of all, the name itself, Zmanje. Could you explain to us a little bit what the origin of the name is?
Of what name?
Zmanje. Which is the next.
Oh, we are going into another Porpora aria here.
Yes.
No, I think we have much more competent people for Italian than me. My Italian is very basic. I use always the help of very kind people, some of whom are here tonight, to solve my Italian embarrassing. I actually don't speak at all Italian.
Okay. Let me just enlighten us a little bit. I'm not going to go into Italianating the evening. We don't need to do it. But there are two basic things in the theater of... Somebody is... Okay, better now. There are two very important names when it comes to the theater of Naples. I think, Francisco, if you could please mute yourself when you're not talking. Okay, because there was some kind of a strange echo. One is Smorfia, and the other one is Zmania. Smorfia is translated is a twisted face. You know, like children would do something funny with their face, and then it is a Smorfia. But Smorfia was also a typical character in the theater because he was like the mask. He had one expression on his face, but his character was doing completely different things. That's Smorfia. Zmania, which is a similar idea in the word itself, was another typical personality in the theater. It was the how shall I say, the heralder of bad news. When you had Asmania, it was somebody who was telling about a bad dream. Those were the people that were in the Neapolitan theater called Zmanie. And obviously, here we have the same usage of the word, because with our friend Porpora, he used all those words. Zmanie is when the character is very angry. He's agitated. Smorfia, he is as if he's agitated, but he's not. He's actually laughing at you. So, who is performing here?
It's again Karina Gauvin from the same CD. Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful slow aria. It's maybe a bit long, but it's 8 minutes, so
it's okay. I think. We can,
oh, okay.
We can live with it. I think that we are all going to send a message over the sea, and would like to have an evening with all your friends that participated in creating this incredibly lovely music, which for me was like dreamland. I mean, I really found myself trying to decide whether to go to Porpora or Handel, or just be in Dresden waiting for Veracini to jump out of the window. By the way, the story is that he did not jump. Somebody threw him out of the window. He was
yes, that is another variant. Yes,
he was playing for a lady who was about to get married, and the future husband decided that he wanted Veracini to be past and not present.
Yes.
So, but stories. Anyway.
Stories.
Okay, please mute your mic, and let's listen to the agitated Zmanie. Wow, that's that's very, very, very beautiful. Yes, Holger, I would like some tea. Do you have that feeling?
It's a canta with nana mint.
Ah, okay. Chai manana.
It's green tea.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Francisco, you seem to be singing some of the words here.
Yes, yes, I'm quite. I memorize easily quite some areas, and this was one of my favorites of that recital by Karina Guban. Yeah, I wasn't singing. I was only just saying the words, really, and
Okay.
seeing the pure connection that is between the words and the music in this particular area.
Yeah, it was very, very beautiful. I mean, it's one of those things that when there is a real great piece of music, of art, you can forget about the music and listen to the words, and forget about the words and listen to the music, and you will still get the same experience that only gets richer when you allow everything to conquer you. But sometimes, and I must say it happens to me a lot of times when I listen to, I'm sorry about mentioning his name again, to Wolf and the Gang, Mr. Amadeus. Uh, Sometimes, let's say if I take Il Seraglio and I just listen to the words, sorry. Problem here. Okay, solved. Uh, and here again, you listen to the words and you get into a certain kind of mood, and then you allow the music to come in and flood you, and all of a sudden you're more in the same place that you've been before.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that it is not only the great geniuses who were capable of doing so. It is often that you have these unknown or neglected or looked upon composers who suddenly touch you in this way. For example, you know this famous cantata, well, famous by Ferrandini, I Pianti di Maria.
Yes. Yeah.
And there is this gorgeous recording with Anne-Sophie von Otter. And Reinhard Goebel was the conductor, and he wrote in the booklet, yes, well, it is he had grudgingly to admit that it is attributed to Handel, but he said it is so beautiful music. It can't be Ferrandini because Ferrandini never wrote such beautiful music. And this is so unfair. And then it was discovered Elisabeth Scholl, the sister of Andreas Scholl.
Andreas, yeah.
Yes, she is a soprano as well, and she recorded a beautiful CD with Ferrandini's Passion cantatas. And it is all Ferrandini works. And there is a piece which is the perfect copy of the discordant slow movement in the di Maria. So it's almost exactly the same piece of music, and so it's true. It is Ferrandini, and Ferrandini was able to write beautiful music. So please, Mr. Goebel, don't write such nonsense.
Well, sometimes very gifted and talented people allow themselves to be carried away, like our good friend Stravinsky,
Yes, exactly.
The famous story that Stravinsky came to the Pope and said, could you please bring back the castrati? But still, Mr. Goebel is a very, very good conductor. But
yes, of course.
I don't know this recording with Funwater. I don't. I'll have to look it up. Okay. Well, we are going into the deep night. Well, first of all, let me be very happy because we are, I think, as far as kilometers are concerned, I think we are the widest spread that we have ever been in Eusofia so far, because we go from Venezuela to Tel Aviv, through Cincinnati, Sweden, Romania. I don't know, Oslo, we have Norway. I don't know where Lisa is from, and I can't seem to be able to get her to tell us. And we also have Carol. I have no idea where she's from. Please, Carol, please tell us that you're from the Mauritius Islands, so that get a little bit of. But Francisco, I can also see that in Venezuela you share the weather with Israel, from the way you're dressed.
Yes, yes, yeah, it's quite hot here. There's 30 degrees now, right now.
Wow, 30 degrees.
30
wow.
Celsius degrees, yes, and I am at the 800 hours right now. But then in the night it begins to down the temperature.
Yeah, wow. No. We are only in Israel. We are only now at I think 16 degrees Celsius, but still very, very hot. It's for February. It's very, very hot. Okay, we are getting to the sad part of the evening, the beginning of the good night sessions, and we have a sinfonia here. Holger, please brighten our minds. What is the sinfonia we're going to hear?
Yes, we are going to hear a sinfonia. It is by Giacomo Antonio Perti, and Perti is one of these neglected composers of the Bolognese cities, Bologna, and they had a very old-fashioned style, and in comparison to the other Italian cities, for example, and since they didn't have a big influential theater, the composers are more known for their church music. And this is a sinfonia from an oratorio, which is called Gesù al Sepolcro. And yes, I choose it for two reasons. Again, because it is by a composer which I'm working on in my edition, as all the music we heard tonight. Cornelia is helping me with the Italian of a very interesting Perti opera, Nerone, Stato Cesare. And we think we will be finished this year. Let's hope. And the other reason is that Fabio Biondi is playing the first violinist, not the first violinist in recording. And this, I think, is a good piece to end tonight.
Fabio Biondi is going to record this, you said?
No, he is. Actually, this is the recording.
Oh, okay.
And he is playing the first violin on this recording.
Oh, this is the tactus.
Yes, he's not the conductor, but he is the first violinist. And he's going to record this Veracini opera.
Ah, okay.
Just working on this Adriano in Syria by Francesco Veracini.
Okay. So first of all, we found out that we do have a representative of Italy, not only in the musical part of it, but also with us here. We have Lisa, who's she's from Italy. Where are you from in Italy, Lisa? She writes to me in the chat, but I guess that we have also here Roma. We didn't have any. Well, we should have some Palestrina or something.
Yes, I'm sorry, Lisa.
La prossima volta saremo anche a Roma. Okay, so first of all, I'm really very, very happy. It was a completely outstanding evening because we not only listened to music, but at least I, on my part, I allowed myself to be swept completely off my feet and taken to various horizons that brought back a lot of memories. You know, I used to know Porpora in the classical way, and it was boring.
Yes.
And so there was a lot of happy returnings, if I may say so. It was an outstanding evening. And I hope we'll have more of these so that we can get more and more into the digging and the detective part that produces this beautiful music as a result. So, after having said welcome to you, Sophia, I'd like to thank you all for being here with us tonight. I invite everybody who had technical problems tonight, please email to me. I'll write my email here in the chat for everybody, and we will set up a technical session so that as much as I can, we will solve all problems. We also have a toll-free number for almost every country in the world that you can call and have, you know, assistance, technical assistance, to help you join a meeting. So if anybody wants those numbers, just email me and I'll be more than glad to send them to you and try and set up a technical session. So again, thank you very much for being with us here tonight from the -20 of Sweden to the +30 of Valencia in Venezuela. Thank you very much from you, Sophia. Our minds meet online, and tonight we had quite a lot of meetings, quite a lot of minds, quite a lot of interesting things. Thank you very much, Holger. And
thank you too.
Please mute all the mics for the Sinfonia Well, before we say our good nights and fare thee well, I forgot to ask, and Holger was kind enough to let us know that the lovely soprano here was Swedish soprano Lina Eckerlund.
Åkerlund, yeah.
Åkerlund. Okay.
This A with the
is an O.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's a O. Yes. I had to
Okay.
learn the hard way too.
Yeah. Well, by the way, you know that it's quite amazing because in English, your accent is more Swedish than German. It's quite.
Okay.
I guess you get your accent through love, which is
Probably, yeah.
probably the best way to get an accent, or to get anything else.
I agree. I agree.
So we'll just go one by one. Thank you, Anne, for being with us, and thank you for allowing us to steal Holger for this incredible evening. Thank you, Cornelia, for being with us, and thank you, Francisco, of course, Nira, who is my better part, sits right behind me here. She's always in front of me, but she sits behind me. Thank you, Ingrid, and also Lisa, who I think left us ahead of time. And we actually had quite a lot of people. I keep getting emails of people who did not succeed in coming in. Anyhow, we're going to have a edited edition of this evening, which is so lovely and so beautiful, and we'll put it on both on the on our website as well as on YouTube. Obviously, before I'll do it, I'll consult with you, Holger, because it's not a straightforward recording that we're doing now. We're doing quite a lot of editing, so that
Okay.
you know it becomes a kind of you know, something that stands alone. It's not only a meeting.
Great.
Nothing more to say. Thank you very much, and thank you for the sound
Lovely.
and for everything. And keep warm.
We will. We will. Cuddle up now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.